Hey PJs, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing Smashhh Creations, which is another subscriber slime shop. They sent me two packages. The first one is just the main one, which is the big one you see on the right, and then the other one, they were so sweet and kind enough to send more stuff. So I was like, I don't know, it just made me so happy. There's so many different things to unbox with this package. So we're just going to get into it as fast as possible. And as always, if you want to check out this shop, I will leave them in a link down in the description below. And if you want your business to be reviewed, whether it's slime or something else, I also leave my business email down in the description. All of the slimes came wonderfully packaged, nothing cracked or leaked. I loved everything about the package, like everything. It was just so colorful and pretty, and everything seems so well thought out, and I just love everything about it. Besides the slimes, I was also sent their business card, which includes a thank you note, how to care for your slime, all that good stuff, some stickers from Animal Crossing and Pokemon, which I actually play both very often, so I'm so glad I got them. I can't wait to use them. An activator pen and slime softener. They weren't labeled, so I would recommend labeling them. And then like a ton of candy here, like there's so much. They also sent two squishies, this little pea fidget toy, which is adorable. It is now in my little fidget box. It is so cute. And they sent this tiny adorable Rubik's Cube. So besides this one, I only have one other one, so I was so glad I got this one, and I've always wanted a mini one. They're so cute. But of course, since I got it, of course, like, you know, I gotta do what I do when I have a Rubik's Cube, which is solve it. But I did have to speed it up like a lot more than I wanted to, because it did take me 7 minutes to solve it. Usually it takes me probably about half that time. I know that's still not impressive at all, but this one is just, it's tiny. I've got fat hands. It's hard to work with. So it just took longer. Sometimes it had trouble spinning and whatnot. So that happens with smaller Rubik's Cubes. They just have a harder time maneuvering correctly. So I just kind of had a little bit of trouble with that. But I did end up solving it, of course. And I don't know, random like talent thing that I have, and I'm just showing off because why not? I think it's cool when people solve Rubik's Cubes, so I'm just kind of joining that crowd. I know I don't really solve Rubik's Cubes in the normal way that everyone else does. I spin mine a lot more, but I still hope it was at least sort of satisfying. They also sent this extra sample slime, which is called CD Reflection, which is a clear glue based pigmented slime, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It did come quite sticky, but that's perfectly normal. It's starting to get hot where I'm at. I did let this package sit a bit longer than I wanted to originally, and it's a tiny amount of slime. It's a clear slime, just all those things together. It can make it melt extremely quickly in certain circumstances, obviously. But I did just activate it and go about my way. I don't know if it was scented or not, but it did smell really sweet. I love the texture. It didn't leave pretty much any residue on me, even though it's a clear slime, and I think it was wonderful, and I definitely would have loved to have a bigger amount of it. It was super fun to play with. And here are the slimes for review. They all come in these black screw top lid containers with their slime shop logo on the top and the slime name on the side. They did technically send 4 slimes for review. The 5th one is just a white glue slime that they sent for a quality check, and they know that I love white glue slimes, so they sent that one for me, and here it is. And like, thank you so much for sending it. I love just plain white glue slimes. They just make me feel so complete when I'm playing with them, and they're so simplistic, and it just makes me like really calm because it's just so simple, and I love them. I absolutely adore this white glue slime. It was so good, super clicky and glossy, and just I just love it. It was just everything I love about a white slime. Like, you can just make white glue and activator and just, you know, mix them together and then make a slime, or you can add, you know, your lotion and baby oil and stuff, and it's gonna make a huge difference. And you can definitely tell that this one has that lotion and baby oil in it. I would even say it has an excessive amount of baby oil in it, or, you know, I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like, because I do feel it on my hands as I'm playing with it. I personally don't mind. I love the way it feels because it makes my hands feel really soft after I'm done playing with the slime, and it makes the slime itself a lot more glossy and clicky. So I actually prefer it this way, but that's just a note. If you didn't mean to add that much, I would just dial it back just a little bit, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. But for me personally, this one was absolutely amazing. I know I'm gonna play with this one way too much. Starting off the actual review, this is Hey Got Any Grapes. It is a thick and glossy slime scented like grape airheads, and it comes with some grape sprinkles and 2 duck charms. And this is inspired by the like duck song that's on YouTube. If you've never heard of it, definitely look it up. It is so cute. It's like one of those iconic things that I feel like a lot of people grew up with as YouTube grew up, if that makes sense. And that's making me feel extremely old. But it's just one of those songs that I think everybody should hear. But if you can't, it's just basically about a duck that wants grapes at a lemonade stand. It's so cute. I will say this slime, at least for me, isn't a thick and glossy. It's definitely more on the thin and jiggly side. It's extremely stretchy and everything. And I personally love my jiggly slimes, but since it is supposed to be a thick and glossy, I would like suggest trying to change your texture around a little bit. As far as I can tell, this is just made with just like plain white glue. You could always try some glue all or even maybe a little bit of wood glue depending on what kind of texture you're going for, just to help it be a lot more thick. Because if you're just using a plain white glue of some sort, it's really not going to have that thick quality to it unless you add maybe something that's going to thicken it up, or if you, I guess, use a stronger activator or something like that, you really kind of have to use another type of glue. I did love the texture regardless. I am a fan of thinner slimes, so I did really enjoy this one. It has a ton of crispy and like those wet bubble pops. They're just super fun to do. It's really clicky and it started off super glossy. I also love that there's so many different add-ins. Like for all of the slimes, you'll notice that they are very generous with the add-ins, which I love. And since this one is a thinner base, you can really feel the add-ins in here as you're stretching it, and it just feels really cool. To me, the slime smelled like grape candy, but not like super sweet, so pretty accurate, and I'm obsessed with the color. You will see it did stain my hands purple, but that's okay. It did come off like when I was playing with the other slime, so it does come off really easily. But the color is definitely worth it because it is gorgeous. I love how deep and stunning it is. This slime is definitely one of those ones that's super fun to squish, and since it is a thinner base, at least for me, I like to roughhouse them. I don't really know why, but like the thinner ones, I just really like to just like squeeze really hard and just mess around with and like just watch it slosh around and stuff. I don't know why. It just, I like let my frustration out on thinner slimes because I just find it to be super fun. I would be careful with this one since it is thin, and it is, at least like for me in my experience, it is pretty thin. It did fling slime quite a bit, but that is pretty normal for thinner slimes. It's just something that I like to mention. I'm going to give this slime 4.5 out of 5 pajamas. Next up is Celebration Cake Batter, which is a cloud dough slime scented like cake, and it comes with a ton of colorful sprinkles. And oh my goodness, is this slime stunning. Like, it is so pretty. I've always talked about how I love when slimes have like a white base to them and then like super colorful add-ins. They just make me so happy and they just look so pretty. And this one in particular, like I mentioned earlier, they are super generous with their add-ins, so every time you stretch this one you can see all the different colors and it just looks so pretty. There's so many sprinkles, in fact, that it actually changes the texture a little bit on this one and makes it kind of chunky as you play with it, which is actually really cool, and I think it gives a step up to the cloud dough texture. But that's also just my opinion because, like I've mentioned before, cloud doughs aren't my particular favorite in the world because I'm not really sure how to play with them. I feel like they don't give off a lot of ASMR, and I just feel like they're like one of those awkward in-between textures, and I'm just not a huge fan of them. But this one I do really enjoy, which I will get into in a little bit, but it does have a chunky texture to it is what I'm trying to say, but I like it. So like mentioned, this one is scented like cake. To me, it smells like caramel cake. I don't know if that's a thing, and I'm not talking about like a fake caramel. It's so hard to describe. It's like maybe like a caramelized cake instead of a caramel cake. I don't know, but it smells extremely sweet and I really enjoy it. It's a really sweet scent, but not overly sweet. It just smells really good. I did say I actually like this cloud dough texture, and I mean it. Like, this one was actually really fun to play with, and I enjoyed actually playing with this one. Most of the time I do enjoy playing with cloud doughs because they're slime, you know, I enjoy playing with slime. So unless it's like you know, like a terrible like store-bought slime. Usually I have no problem with playing with any texture, but this one I actually really enjoy the fact that it's a cloud dough. It does give off some small sizzles and crackles, and the slime itself is super soft, so it's extremely relaxing, and I felt myself just really enjoying playing with this one. And it's definitely one of those ones I feel like I could play with for a long time, and I don't realize how much time has passed because it is just super mesmerizing to look at and just so soft. This slime is definitely great for holding and folding, so like couch play if you're wanting to do that. It also has minimal snow residue, so you really don't have to worry about that, and it looks realistic to the name. It is perfect, and it is getting 5 out of 5 pajamas. Third for review is Sugar Rush. It is a semi-dry icy slime scented blue raspberry, and it comes with a packet of gummy charms and a packet of heart sprinkles. And like, look how cute these charms are. Like, I saw them in the packet before I reviewed this. I was like, I'm already obsessed with them. They look so good. I didn't want to add them to the slime just because I would just be adding them to the top for aesthetic purposes and then just taking them all off so I could show you guys the slime, because I know if I added it into it, it just like it might make it a little too chunky, I guess, and they might fall out and whatnot because it's an icy slime, which icy slimes don't hold in big charms and stuff very well. I mean, they're not big charms, but they don't hold in bigger objects super well anyways. So I just kind of like set them to the side, but I love them. I love looking at them. They look amazing. But anyways, on to the slime. First of all, the color is gorgeous. I love how deep this blue color is. Unlike the first one though, it didn't leave any blue on my hands, so that's really good. I also noticed that as soon as I took this one out of the container, it had immediate sizzles to it, like immediately. Like, I didn't even have to really stretch this one. It already started doing the sizzles. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a good one, because sizzles in an icy slime are just something that is needed, and they sound so good, and they're starting to become like one of my favorite ASMR sounds because it's just so soothing to hear sizzles. This slime smells just as described, but not overpowering. I've noticed with a lot of like candy scents, they seem to be like extremely sweet, but this one's definitely more on the subtle side, which I definitely appreciate, and it smells really unique as well. Not just like a generic blue raspberry, but like more sweet instead of candy. It's really hard to describe, but it smells really good. I love the balance between the wet and dry icy like aspects in this slime. The wet part is what makes the sizzles. I'm usually a fan of dry icy slimes, but I do miss out on a lot of the sizzles because like that's the wet part of an icy slime. That's where the sizzles come from. And then the dry part makes like a lot less residue, and there's better handling with the slime because it just doesn't have like residue all over your hands, and it doesn't slip, and it usually doesn't stick to your table and all that, so it's just easier to work with, but you're still getting those sizzles because of the wet parts. So I actually really like the balance between these two, and I might like it better than just a plain dry icy slime, which I didn't think I'd ever say. The texture is also super soft and fluffy. It does have your typical like icy slime residue, so it does kind of get like on my fingertips and under my fingernails a little bit here and there, but it's really not that bad, and I didn't like truly notice it until I was actually looking for it. I thought that this slime was really satisfying to press down on, and definitely one of those slimes that's really good for managing stress levels because you get to hear the sizzles, and it's just a really fun, pleasing texture. This slime also gets 5 out of 5 pajamas. And last for this review is Laundry Day. It is a cloud slime scented fresh linen, and it comes with a packet of white sprinkles and a mini clothespin charm. I love the simplicity of the add-ins with this one. Just the pure white sprinkles look so good with this blue base. It reminds me of like a clear blue sky on a summer day, and it just looks so pretty, and I love it. And I don't know, just ignore the fact that I'm making a huge mess with the sprinkles on the table because there was a lot of them, and I decided to add them all on the top and then try to mix it into a cloud slime, which is not a good idea, but I did my best. I always like making messes apparently, but it's still pretty, and I love the amount, like, because you get to see them throughout the slime as you're stretching it, and it just looks so nice. This slime also smells exactly as described. It smells just like fresh linen, and it smells so good. Definitely reminds me of laundry day, and it really brings me back actually to my childhood, because like with the clear blue sky looking color that it also reminds me of, it reminds me of when my mom was doing laundry when I was a kid. We were the type of family that hung ours outside on a line, and it was just, I don't know, I just love those days because I got to smell laundry like when I was sitting outside because of the wind blowing, and then I got to smell laundry in the house. And like, you know, I like my weird scents, but like, I don't know if that's even a weird scent, because who doesn't like fresh laundry smell? But I love those days because it just smelled so good. Like everywhere I went, it just smelled amazing. Anyways, the slime has immediate fluffs. Like, I don't know if you guys saw it, because maybe you're just listening to me talk too much. But as soon as I took this one out of the container, I stretched it once and it immediately fluffed up. I'm in awe with this one. It is absolutely incredible. Like, I don't know what's going on. I've said before that I am absolutely terrible at drizzling slimes, but this one comes so easily to me, and it's just so perfect. The drizzles are so uniformed and amazing, and the slime is so soft, and it just looks so good. Like, everything about this one looks so good. It is a perfect cloud slime down to every detail, and I am obsessed. It is just beyond easy to drizzle, and it is so soft, but like so dense at the same time. It is weird. It's like what I feel like a cloud would feel like, because you know, everybody's like, oh, if you actually touched a cloud it would be like soft and fluffy, and it's like, no, it's actually filled with water and it'd be dense and it would probably hurt if you smacked into it. You know what I'm talking about? So I feel like it feels like what a cloud would feel like, except nicer, because it wouldn't hurt. But I don't know, it's like, it feels dense, but I don't think it actually is dense. It's weird. Just holding this slime relaxes me, and if I'm not in the mood for drizzles, which I don't play with cloud slimes very often, so I don't usually do them, I can just stretch this one out like I'm doing now, and it's still doing drizzles. Like, it looks so good, and it's just so addicting to see those like drizzles happen. I love it so much. Of course, this is getting 5 out of 5 pajamas. And with that, that is the end of this review, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. Again, if you want to check out this slime shop, which I highly recommend, I will leave their link to their shop in the description down below. And if you made it this far, comment down below some life advice for anyone who's reading the comments, because we could all use some from time to time, and I like hearing some words of wisdom. My life advice is to get a cat. They are amazing. Don't listen to anyone else. Now I am signing off, and I will see you guys in the next one.